Good morning, dear children. So let us continue with your social class. Where were we in the last class? Yeah, if you take your content, we are done with one from geography, right? One from history. Are we done with it? Yes, we have finished in the previous class. One from history. Today, let us talk about democracy and equality. One from pol science, which is also called civics, right? Political science. Page number 253. All right. Democracy. Before I go into the chapter, I just want to give you introduction about this particular chapter, democracy and equality. That these two words sounds very good, but I just wish and pray that the way we study, each one of us must also practice in the same manner. We must follow. Yes, some of us do practice it, but still, there is far way to go. So let's see what this chapter has to offer us, what the chapter has to tell us. Before we start the chapter, there's a short kind of a preface, an overview being mentioned in the form of a story, or let's see what is that. Page number 253, right above the text, there is a box. Let's read it out and get to know what is it saying. Democracy and equality. Summer vacations were almost getting over, and the children of Adarsh Cooperative Society were planning to organize a mango eating competition for the elders. It would be the best way to beat the heat, they thought. Mansi informed her father excitedly, Papa, we will organize the competition on the last Sunday of June. Please keep yourself free. Mr. Mathur, however, was not free on Sunday. Beta, all of us will be busy in the general body meeting of the Residents Welfare Association of our society to elect the managing committee. The committee looks after the general administration of our society, so all the residents of the society have to attend the meeting, he said. Mansi was disappointed. But, Papa, why is it so important to elect the managing committee? The managing committee can be formed on its own, she said. Beta, we live in a democracy, and electing a body that would take care of governance is an important aspect of democracy. Don't we have elections to elect the government of our country? Mr. Mathur replied, elections, democracy, were some of the terms Mansi had learned in her previous class and also heard them on television many times. But surely, democracy must be something really important. She wanted to know more about it. In this chapter, we will learn more about democracy. Okay. So this chapter will basically, tell us it will share with us about democracy. But I believe, as the preface says that it has got something more to offer us. We just have a, as of now, we were like in the earlier classes or in the lower classes, it is being taught that democracy does mean a form of government which is basically for the people, or you can say it is made by the people. Okay. And what, for the people, by the people, and of the people, right? But does that only mean democracy? See, this definition, it is just one of the definition of democracy. That's what I want to tell you. Democracy has got a very wider perspective, right? Now, as it is being said that elections are being held, where there is election, that means it's a democracy. Is it so? Just an example I'm sharing with you before I proceed. No. What if, now I'll give you an example why just conducting election does not mean democracy. Because just imagine, like we see many a times in this, what do you call, what is that, movies and all, right? Elections are held, but what if you are forced to cast your vote to such a candidate whom you don't like, whom you don't want to, but you're forced to? Will you call it as a democracy? Elections are held regularly, but The person who is being getting elected is being elected out of, you are electing that person out of compulsion, not out of your own choice. Okay, will you call it as a democracy? No, right? So just having conducting election does not mean democracy. It is just one example I gave you. So likewise, there are many. Democracy is really a big. I would say it's a kind of a big ocean. Okay, if you need to really understand what do you mean by democracy, and again, another like if I want to add on to that example, now for example, so look, you are going and casting your vote, you are electing somebody out of your own choice, but however, the choice which you have in front of you, okay, that's not kind of fair enough. Fair enough means, now for example, say there are two candidates, okay, now both the candidates, their promises for the people is quite same. Now in that case, whom will you choose, whom will you opt for, whom will you vote? As because there are only two options in front of you, and both the options are offering you the similar promises, the similar policies. In that case, that is also again not a part of, that also again says that that doesn't mean that even though you're going and casting a vote out of your own choice, that is not democracy, because you don't have actually, in actual term, if I say, you don't have the right choice in front of you. So let us see now what this book has to offer us. I just gave you a sort of introduction. I hope you already got an idea, got a picture what are we going to study about, in this chapter. Meaning of democracy. Democracy means rule of the people. It is a combination of two Greek words, demos, which means people, and kratos, which means rule. Underline that. So this basically a word which has been derived from a Greek word, which two Greek word, that is demos and kratos. Demos means people, kratos means rule. American President Abraham Lincoln described democracy as a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, just up with the one which I shared with you in introduction. So it was basically, defined by or described by the American President Abraham Lincoln. That is the simplest form of definition for democracy. I think even you have come across in the previous classes as well. In Mansi's society, the managing committee is a mini government, a small government. It will be made up of people living in the society, which is of the people. It will be elected by the residents of the society, that is by the people, and it will look for the administration of the society, that is for the people. So basically, this example tells us what do you mean by this, of the people, by the people, and for the people. So good definition there given, good way of explanation. Of the people basically means, as in this particular society, this particular managing committee will be made of people living in that particular society. So of the people. Now, for example, if you look at our country is a democratic country, right? So our government, the people, the leaders whom we elect them, or the representative, they are the people of this particular country. So that's the first and foremost thing. You have to be the citizen. You have to be the member of that particular country. Next comes by the people. What do you mean by the people? Means it will be elected by the residents of the society. In case of this, what do you call it, managing committee. Now, if I just say you in case of our country, that means during election, what happens? You see who goes and casts a vote. One who is 18 and above, plus the second and the foremost thing is that one who is a resident of the country. Just somebody, if you are age 18 and above, but you are an outsider, you came from a different country, maybe for the purpose of sightseeing, or maybe for the purpose of just visiting, and during that moment, if the election is being held, it doesn't mean that you can go and cast your vote. No, one who is a resident of that particular country. Next, for the people. For the people means, now this particular managing committee, that Mansi and all, Mansi's father, that the example that we saw, or if I tell you from the perspective of our country, the government, that we elect or that is formed, that government is for whom? For us, for the people, right? That's what this means. Today, democracy is the most popular form of government all around the world. When and how did democracy originate? Let us look at the journey of democracy. Okay. You see page number 253 on the right hand side, there are some images, okay, and it is being numbered in sequence 1, 2, yeah, it continues up till the next page. In total, there are 6 images. Just below those numberings, there are some statements being written. I would read, please go through, please follow. History of democracy. Number one image, it says that the assembly in the ancient state of Athens Number two, the Roman Senate marked one of the first stages in the evolutions of the democratic system. 3. The feudal system in medieval Europe was characterized by the absence of democratic spirit in governance. 4. The signing of the Magna Carta was the first ever expression of people's will prevailing upon the interests of the crown. 5th, the American War of Independence against British colonialism was followed by the establishment of a democratic system in the US. Sixth, the French Revolution was based on the principles of equality, liberty, and fraternity that still serve as the fundamental ideals of democracy. Alright, so this six images and a piece of information that is being written, okay, just beside these images, that basically tells us that this democracy that we have today, how did it emerge? So right, starting from the ancient city of Athens to the present day that we have today, so many, across the globe. It's not only, I'm not only talking about India, it's across the globe. You see America, what do you call, France, this ancient city of this, what do you call, Athens. You see the medieval Europe, okay, uh, yeah, the Roman Senate. Likewise, across the globe, there's a long history, there are long stories, okay, to which tells us that how this democracy emerged in the world and also in our country. Let's see if we have specifically, even specifically mentioned about our country. Social equality. No, we'll not talk here specific with perspective to with regard to India specifically. We will talk about democracy as a whole. All right. You know, democracy is considered as the best form of government. Can you tell me the different forms of government that we have? There is something called monarch. In simple term, if I explain you, which means king's rule, king queen. There's another form of government called dictator, which means in simple term, if I say army rule, okay, the leader of the army, the head of the army will ultimately took over the whole country. So likewise, there are different forms of government like dictator. We have this, what do you call, monarch, and yeah, our form of government, that's a democratic form of government. Okay, so these are the various forms of government that we have. Out of all these forms of government, this democracy, a democratic form of government, is considered to be the best form of government. And with regard to this particular chapter, that's democracy. Let me see if there is mentioned in the, no, it's not. Here is just, you can say, the introduction about democracy. It's very interesting chapter. When you go to your higher classes, you'll get to know many different. Yes, like everything has got a positive as well as a negative trait. Even democracy, I'm not saying that it's, it does not have any negative trait. Even it does have, but no matter what, if you compare it with the other forms of government, it is the best in comparison. And so that is the reason that every country opts for this form of government. Even today also, there are those countries which are not democratic. Protests have been going on, revolutions have been taking place for, so that they can change their country into a democratic form of country. Now let us see page number 254, this history of democracy. Those figures that we have, or the statement or the piece of information which I just mentioned just beside the images, those are being described now in detail. Let's see one by one. Number one, in Athens, the ancient city of the ancient city-state of Greece, all the male citizens formed a body called the assembly that took the important decision of the state. Please circle that word. All the male citizens. It's not all the citizen. Okay, I'll tell you what does it mean. It's all the male citizen formed a body called the assembly that took the important decision of the state. This was perhaps the earliest form of direct democracy, where people directly participated in governance. But, but slaves, women, and people of other states living in Athens were not a part of the assembly and did not participate in the decision making. See, when a change takes place, it doesn't take place all of a sudden. It has got its own process. Likewise, now see, for the very first time in Athens, what was happening was that it was the people who were going to take the decision for the state. So earlier it wasn't in their hand. So it so happened that at first it was the male, the men who took this, okay, who took this responsibility or this authority of making decision. But however, the slaves, women, and people of other states, they were not being allowed. It was only the male citizen of this, what do you call, the ancient city state of Greece. It was only from that particular state and the male citizen. No matter, yes, slaves, women, people of other states were not being allowed to be a part of that particular association, that particular assembly. But however, a change was taking place. Gradually, they did become a main part of that as well. It happens with every country, even with ours, if you check back the history. But today, see, it's not that only men are allowed to vote. Everybody, man, women, whoever. It's not that only rich or poor, irrespective of your caste, creed, gender, whatever. Anyone who is eligible as per those criteria, that you have to be a citizen, you have to be a, yeah, this what you call adult, you have got the right to vote. Likewise, so today that is the end process, that's the final outcome. But when it started, it wasn't so. It took time, step by step, one by another process. Likewise, this is the first step in Athens, which is the ancient city of Greece. So only in that particular city, I mean, only the male of that particular city, it was, they got the authority to take the important decisions. So what is this? This actually, you can say, a step, taking a step towards democracy. That's what you can say, right? Next, number two, democracy developed further in the Roman Empire somewhere around 509 to 27 BCE and played an important role. An assembly of important citizens called the Senate was formed, and people elected consuls to run the government for a 1 year term. Hmm? Even in Roman Empire, see, empire, king, monarch, but a change is taking place in the Roman Empire, right? What change? Change for democracy, change where people can, they can decide. So what happened? Democracy in Roman Empire, when 509 to 27 BCE. I hope you know BCE, and what do you call? We also term it as BCs, can be also termed as BC, before Christ. Okay, and there's another one, CE, okay, Common Era, or it can be also called AD, Anno Domini, after Christ. All right, so it was before Christ, quite long back, and an assembly was formed, assembly of, again here also, yes, there are some loopholes, but after all, we are talking about that particular era, so it is fair enough if you just keep in mind about, the time period, because depending upon those days, those situations, this was a great, you can say, progress. An assembly of important citizen only, they call themselves as senate, and this senate was formed, and people, they will elect these consuls, and those elected consuls, what they will do, these elected consuls, where their responsibility was to run the government. And there was, like we have right now, 5 year period, okay, 5 year term. They, during those days, for them, for this Roman Empire, it was 1 year term. So that was ultimately, you can say, they were, proceeding, okay, they were going towards democracy. Next, number three, that's in the age of feudalism that came after the fall of the Roman Empire, democracy was almost forgotten. It was an age of violence, wars, and tyranny of the kings. See, when feudalism existed, all right, in this, what do you call, in the medieval Europe, in the medieval period, that time, especially after this, after the fall of the Roman Empire, democracy was not practiced at all, and lots of upheavals took place. Okay, you can say that revolutions took place, violence took place, wars and all, in order to bring back this democracy again. And today, if you see this, what you call, Europe and all, even they practice democracy today. Today, I will keep it up to this point three. All right. The remaining 3 points: American War of Independence, French Revolution, and what is this? The other one? The signing, the signing of Magna Carta, the Great Charter of the Liberties of England. Okay, this 3 point we shall discuss in the next class. Please go through the text. I hope you're understanding what are we going to study in this chapter. All right, democracy. It is not so small, and the journey, okay, the history of democracy that we have today. How did it emerge? How? That is what another thing that we're going to know in this chapter. All right, the remaining topic we shall discuss in the next class. Go through the text, study well, okay, and be at home.